Hi, it's a Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. Time for another makeup update. My goal is to get back to you within a shorter amount of time than I have previously and let you know what my thoughts are about products that I have been trying. I feel like there's something really fun about a first impression, but sometimes you really get to know a product the more you use it. And I definitely have some products here that I have some pretty strong thoughts about. All right, I'm gonna start with the concealer I'm wearing today. This is the Tower 28 Serum Concealer. Oh my goodness, I love this stuff. This stuff is so beautiful. I have the second lightest shade in BU. The one thing I will say about this is I like this best on light makeup days. This kind of gives like a medium coverage. It is hydrating. It does have some skincare ingredients to it, so it does end up looking a little bit dewier, especially under my eye. And on the days when I'm wearing less makeup, I feel like it does best when I use it on its own. There's a lot that I put underneath my eye. I have an eye serum, an eye cream, I have a sunscreen, I have a corrector, I have concealer, I have powder that's 6 layers. It can get to be a lot. So they need to be really thin layers. I can make it work on a day when I'm wearing a little bit more makeup, but my favorite way to wear this is on a kind of like a no foundation day, just kind of spot concealing where I need it, tapping it out, no corrector underneath. So it looks a little bit more like lightweight skin, gives a little bit of glow, and then I set it with a whisper of powder and it's going over all of my skincare. The minute I put down a more emollient corrector under this, it kind of it starts like the clock ticking on how long before it's going to start settling into my fine lines. As a 48-year-old, I definitely do have those lines down there. And of course, I can always, take a look at it and tap it out with my finger. I'm not having that problem now. But halfway through the day, I do feel like if I'm wearing a lot more makeup, sometimes this isn't like completely bulletproof, but I would rather tap something out and have it look hydrated under the eye than have it be bulletproof but look really drying and really age my eyes even more. But on a light makeup day, when I'm not wearing foundation and I just need to spot conceal, this is beautiful. I really like that it's kind of like a hydrated, glowy sort of medium weight coverage. I really like this product. I have really been liking the Glossier Stretch Fluid Foundation. I have the shade Very Light 2. Do you see how kind of thick it is? I like that when I put it here, it doesn't actually just start to drip. This is one of those products. First of all, I love that you can get a measured amount. You don't have to, when you start pressing the pump, it doesn't like commit to a full pump. You can get just a little bit out if you want it. On days that I don't want to look like I'm wearing too heavy coverage, I reach for this. This is a glowy foundation. I find that I get about 10 hours of wear out of it before it starts disappearing in places where I, as a combo skin person, have a few extra oils coming through, like my nose. But I definitely feel like this one doesn't last as long as some more long-wearing matte foundations. Well, it's not made to be matte, and it's talking about it having skincare ingredients, so it's going to have a little bit more hydration. But I like the way my skin looks. I also like that I don't have to powder this all the way. I can powder places where I have concerns, like right here in my forehead, my nose, my chin. I don't have to powder my full face, and this still looks really pretty. But where I do have more of my oils in my T-zones, this doesn't last as long as, say, an Estee Lauder Double Wear. I actually really like this foundation, but I don't know that if you are looking for full coverage, if you don't like a slightly radiant foundation, you're really not gonna like this. I feel like this is best for somebody who does want a lighter, less made up look and is okay trading maybe a little bit of longevity for a glowy and pretty hydrated look. But I don't need my makeup to be Instagram bulletproof perfect all day. I've never really strived for that. I did end up getting a new shade of the Stretch Concealer from Glossier. It matches, it's Very Light too, same shade as the foundation. Here's what's interesting. I was hoping that I would like the lighter shade better than the original shade I used to get, which was G11. And I feel like I still like G11 a little bit better. So I've been keeping G11 out and this Very Light 2 kind of had stashed in a drawer. I don't know whether it's the shade that is too light or whether there has been a formulation change. I'm still preferring the old one that I had, but my understanding was they didn't change the formula, they just expanded the shade range, so it's the same thing. So maybe it's just not the right shade for me. Or maybe as the weather cools down and I get a little paler, like I always do in the colder weather, I'll switch out G11 for Very Light too. In September, during the 21 Days of Beauty at Ulta, I picked up this Tarte Man-Eater blush. I got the shade Coral. I really like the shade of this. It is a liquid blush. It's got a really, chubby applicator. I had to go to my daughter's room to get this. She has been loving this blush. She likes how easy it is, like that it just kind of blends in with hardly any effort. Here's the one thing I'll tell you. I know this about myself, and because I'm not a pro makeup artist, I'm a makeup enthusiast, I always feel like I struggle with certain formulas of blush, of highlight, if they're liquid. Because the minute I, take something like this and I start doing this, sometimes I find that it picks up whatever I have underneath if it's really emollient. Sometimes this does it, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like I get a better application of this if I put it on the back of my hand and I use my fingers to tap it in. I cannot do this. I don't know if you can do that with this blush. Please, what are you doing? Help me out. I like it. I think it's a really nice color. I am wearing it today. I'm wearing everything today that I'm talking about in this video. But I really feel like this, out of all the blushes that I've tried recently, there's some other blushes that I've added to my collection recently that kind of push this to the bottom. This might end up being like a, here, Ava, do you want it? My 15-year-old would probably love it. Here's another one that I'm probably gonna give to her because I was really disappointed in this. This is the liquid highlight from Juvia's place. Man, this is so pretty. I have the lightest shade. The lightest shade is called Starstruck. But okay, when I swatched this in store, I was gaga for it. I mean, look how pretty it is. This is so beautiful. This goes great over perfect teenage skin with no foundation. But with me, since I wear foundation and then I, put on contour and bronzer and blush, I need to put this down first, but then you kind of lose the sparkle. I feel like if I'm looking for a beautiful, radiant liquid highlight, I feel like the Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glow, although the price point is so different, so much more expensive, it's a much more elegant formula that lasts longer, blends easier, disturbs my skin, like my foundation and stuff, less. This one, because it is so emollient, like I can't, even from here to here, I have to kind of put it on first, and then you know what? I need more blush because it eats through stuff. It's very, very hydrating. Now, I think this is pretty if you were to start with this and then build color on top of it, but I have not successfully been able to put this on top of anything without instantly feeling like, wait, where'd my blush go? Or wait, where'd my bronzer go? This kind of eats through other stuff. I don't want to spend too much time on these Seamless Glide eye pencils from Lisa Eldridge. I have a full video. I'll link it for you here and the description box down below. I also talked about these in a September favorites and fails, and these kind of fell into the fails category. I usually love most things from Lisa Eldridge. What's good about these? These glide. These are the softest, creamiest, most delicious application of a pencil I have ever experienced. I love that. I love how they sharpen beautifully. I never get the when I'm sharpening it, I never have the tip breaking off. I never, if you have a good sharpener, part of it, the battle is, do you have a good sharpener? Or are you needing to replace your sharpener? But with a good sharpener, these sharpen perfectly. I also like how these smudge out. I like that these give you time to play. The problem I have is that these are marketed as 40 seconds of playtime, and then they dry down and they don't budge. Well, no. These definitely don't do that. I got 3 shades. I got a brown, I got a kind of a deep metallic green, and a deep kind of blackened gold. Now the one that I cannot stop using is the one called Renaissance Gold. So I'm wearing it today. I am forever reaching for this. This is stunning. Even though it does transfer when I put it in my upper waterline, I can't stop doing it. I really like that it's not too black. It does blank out those skin tone gaps. And yeah, it does transfer to the lower waterline. That's not my favorite thing, but I love this color so much, I kind of don't care. So for me, I could see myself repurchasing this shade. I probably wouldn't go back for the green or the brown when I finish them up. It's mainly because I'm looking for something that's more budge proof than these are. So here are the colors. If you were to leave them, you know, for even 5 minutes, you could still smudge them. There were a lot of comments from the brand on people kind of questioning like these liners after they launch. They were saying, well, if you really want to make sure they don't go, you should be able to set them with powder, or you know, the more you layer them up, the likelier they are to take longer to set. But if that's the case, then market it as something that is ultimately creamy, glides on like a dream, but then you need to set it with something. Because I feel like the marketing for these was, these are going to be budge proof, these are going to be bulletproof, and they're not. Now, I know no eye product ever really is 100% bulletproof, but these were kind of marketed as the ultimate, and they're good. But I think the only one I would repurchase is the shade Renaissance Gold, because the shade is unique in my collection. There have been 2 palettes I have been obsessed with. One is this, the Danessa Myricks Groundwork palette. The longer I have it, the more abused it gets. I use it all the time. I am using this shade here in Chiseled for contour today. I'm using the shade in Mirage as bronzer. I use the shade in Stone, Sandstone, Bark, and Sculpted on the eye today. And I like that you have kind of like this, she's calling it a velvet pomade, but it feels kind of like a putty. And then it has a coordinating powder to go with it. I love these so much. I find that these work best on my eyes when I use either the powder on their own without a primer. If I put a primer down, and maybe it's the primer I'm using, but I like these powders on their own on a bare lid. I like them over the velvet pomade. I feel like they work really well when they go over. If you start with the pomade and then you powder next, that works pretty well, but you can't fuss too much with it, or you're going to end up getting kind of like a place where you're disturbing the pomade beneath, and then you're going to have a gap in the look. So you got to kind of be light-handed. I feel like the more I work with these, the better I get with how to use them. But I love these shades. I've even used the black as liner, and I set it with the black powder. I like this a lot. You can tell my fingers have been in these guys a lot, and my brush has been in this shade a lot. I use this for contour all the time. Really like this, but my favorite days are the days that I'm wearing no sparkle and it's just all matte with like maybe a glossy lip. Been reaching for it all the time. I was planning on doing just a completely matte look with this today on the eye and everywhere and not using anything else. And then as I was looking through the bin of things I wanted to review for you today, I was like, I kind of have to use the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have not made it a secret that me and Natasha Denona color stories are not always made for each other. Like the Yucca palette from earlier this year, the greens, and kind of like those really golden yellows. Those really aren't shades that I would wear regularly. Or the ones that are more like sunset or sunrise eyes with purples and golds and oranges. No, the Love palette with pinks and purples, those are not my colors of eyeshadow. But the minute she did this, oh my goodness. So I have kind of been like on the verge of getting certain palettes, like the bronze palette, and I liked it, but it's too warm for my personal taste. I have always been right on the cusp of the Glam palette, the one that has all of the cool neutrals. But then when this one came out, I just couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself. And it is stunning and it is beautiful. And I love the spangles on the eyes. Now, they are a little bit different formula-wise than some of my favorite indie eyeshadows, but they don't need as much hand-holding as some of the indie eyeshadows, like the Cleonas and the Give Me Glows. Like, they're stunning, but I need an eyeshadow primer, I need a glitter glue. I don't always have time for that. They also don't need the same sort of hand holding that the Astral Blitz shades from Pat McGrath need. I feel like if I'm not using the artistry pen that Pat had, which is like kind of like a special glitter primer in a stick. Like, oh my goodness, if I don't put that down, I have sparkle everywhere. I don't have that problem with these formulas. I can apply them with my finger and they stay all day. I might have a rogue like sparkle here or there, but I really feel like there's hardly any. And for something that has such a beautiful sparkly payoff and needs very little effort, there is some beautiful dimensional texture that you get in some of these sparkly shades, and the mattes are just super easy to blend. Buttery, soft, fantastic. Another thing that I have been obsessed with and I have been telling all of my friends about, and apparently one of my youngest friend's mom, I hope that's not confusing. One of the moms at my kids' school was asking me for like a lip recommendation. I was like, Milani lip oils. So the Fruit Fetish lip oils, they just came out in the last, I don't know, maybe 6-8 weeks with 4 new nude shades. I want to get them all, but I'm like, I need more lip products. I can get another hole in my head. I got one. I got the shade Agave Blackberry. It's what I'm wearing today. It is so stunning. I feel like out of all the lip oils that there are in the affordable range, this one's my favorite. I even like this one better than some of the high-end lip oils I have. Like, I love it. I like that it kind of gives color, not too much. This is the sort of shade that I love to wear this time of year. It feels warm and toasty. It's super comfortable. It's not really heavy and gloopy. It doesn't sink into the corners and string and pull. It doesn't accentuate the lines in my lips. It actually imparts hydration. If this shade is not for you, they do have 3 other nude shades. I do have another one here from the brand. This is the shade Raspberry Peach, and this is all I have left from here down. Like this one here, there's probably not a ton in here either, but I love these. And I feel like when it comes time to making a recommendation of either a gloss or an oil or something that's not too heavy from the drugstore, I'm always gonna say this. This is so good. These don't commit any lip sins. They smell nice, they feel nice, they're cushiony, they're plush. Get you a Milani Fruit Fetish lip oil in whatever shade. If you want kind of like more a pinky red or you want one of the nudes, totally worth it. Okay, last thing I have for you today is something that I was sure, it's kind of on the new side as well, that I was gonna love. No, and I've just been curious, so I've been trying, and it's the lip oil from Juvia's place. This is the one in watermelon. It actually smells of watermelon. This is basically just a clear lip oil. Now, is there anything wrong with this lip oil? No. Does it impart shine and hydration? Yeah. I feel like the one from Milani lasts a little bit longer. I got this during the 21 days of Ulta Beauty when it was half off because I wanted to try it. But I wouldn't say out of all the lip oils, I would much rather, I feel like, I don't know which one is priced a little bit higher, but at this point, if we're both talking about drugstore pricing and they're $1 or $2 away from each other, I'm still gonna pay more for this one. I just feel like it's not a bad lip oil, it's just not the sort of product I'm looking for. I got one for my 15-year-old, she got the blueberry one. She likes it, but neither of us are obsessed with it, and I can't stop reaching for these guys. Thank you so much for watching today. I always like taking the time to check back and to tell you, okay, even though I don't like this formula, or I think it was marketed in a way that was misleading, I still can't stop reaching for it. Or love this foundation. I feel like it's best for people who like lighter coverage. I think that sort of stuff is really important. And then the things that I'm truly obsessed with that I just cannot stop reaching for, like, I want to tell you about those things. I think it's also important that you keep in mind my makeup aesthetic, my skin type, my age, you know, the sort of things, like if you watch enough videos, you kind of know what I like and what I'm likely to do, and that'll help you realize whether these products are good for you or not. But thank you so much for watching today. Let me know, what have you been trying recently? What has really surprised you? What has been kind of either a letdown or like, oh my goodness, obsessed? I would love to know. Let me know in the comment section below. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you again soon.